How you got everything started?
Yeah, well, my name is Greg Goins, co-founder and co-owner of the three entities we just mentioned. Dr. Stephen Mead, who is a dentist, is my business partner's father. He actually had a little bit of the dental training in his business. And I went to college 4 different times, dropped out every time when I walked into the math class. We have 3 different entities. We have the Medical Institute of Kentucky, we have the Institute of Dental Technology, and then we have Choice MD LLC. We're located in Kentucky and Florida. We have 5 locations in Kentucky: Lexington, Florence, Louisville, London, and Bowling Green, Kentucky. Then we have our newest location in Fort Myers. We're a nationally accredited servicer for medical and dental assistant training. Entice the young male and female to be able to come into our business and actually train in literally 4 months and gain employment in the medical or dental field, $26,000 to $34,000 a year. But I actually started in retail sales when I was 18. Moved out of my mom and dad's house, started on my own, got an apartment, sold appliances and electronics for the first 5 or 6 years of my life. Then moved to another retail store for the next 5 or 6 years, sold more appliances and electronics. Actually worked for Lowe's Home Improvement as an appliance specialist, which is just a way for them to get you to work 50 hours a week without paying you for 50 hours a week. After that, I actually landed a admissions job with Sullivan University Systems out of Kentucky. I've worked with adults, which are called non-traditional students, anyone that's older than 24 typically, or not straight out of high school. But I worked there for about 4 or 5 years, and in the process ran into Jeremy, who was a friend of mine of 15 years. We were actually going to start up a truck driving school, and realized how expensive it was, and I realized I didn't know how to drive a truck, so that didn't work out. But our first thing we ever opened was a 900 square foot schoolhouse, 1-room schoolhouse, almost like what you see on TV. And we taught nurse aid training, which was a 2-week program. From there, just through circumstance, research, and not stopping, we found all the different programs in the medical and dental field, which is what we currently teach today.
Well, how long has your current business been up and running?
We got our license in September of 2008.
What kind of partnership is it? You said you're a co-owner.
It's a limited liability company. Jeremy Mead is my other business partner. His dad is kind of a retired partner. We use his name for the doctor tab, but we do all of the business. It's a limited liability company. That's something.
What does success mean to you and for your firm?
Really graduating students and making sure they find gainful employment. Making sure my employees are happy. We're considered very small, but we're still very large. We're about a $10 million a year company. Our operational expense doesn't compare to any other type of educational facility or most business models. Most business models, you're lucky to have a 20 to 30% profitable gain. Ours destroys that. And not in a selfish, I want to make a lot of money way, but the reason we're so successful is because our system works.
Do you have any goals that you've set that have changed, or just goals that you've been able to meet or revise during the time you've been open?
As far as 5-year goal or less, we want to take the number of schools which we have now is 6 and double it to 12.
Tell your new employees about the organization, like how things are run there, what goes down, what you need to make sure you're doing.
First thing I tell them is never listen to me. No, seriously. It's important in a small business setting, just as in a big one, that you understand your role and what you're supposed to do every day. And not just knowing what that is, but the expectancy and the reward behind it. So if you come on board with my company, you're well rewarded for what you do, but you're also held accountable even more so. Because if one link in that chain doesn't work, we have to get rid of that link and find some other person to put in there.
When you have new students or customers, you can call them, come into your business, what do you like to tell them about how you get things done there?
The big thing is letting them know that we don't just say we're proven and credentialed. They can go to our wall of fame in any of our locations, and we have books of testimonials from students, constantly posting pictures on our social media and also picture books of all of our students. We also have what's called evidence books that the admissions reps use, which is basically factual information about all the colleges and universities that offer our programs or similar, their cost, their length of time, and it's really just all laid out for them. If they don't come to our school, there's a underlying reason that doesn't make sense. So with all the facts and all the paperwork, we provide them with everything they need. 30,000 students, it's a little tough.
Like, what separates you? How have you become as successful as you have compared to those other schools and institutions?
Really, it's the drive. You can be great at what you do or not great at what you do. It's figuring out what you're great at and running with it, and surrounding your people that you bring on with you that are great at your weaknesses. Taking care of them, making sure they're happy, knowing that you're still going to lose them, because regardless of whoever you hire, they're gonna love it until they think the grass is greener. And I've been working for 21 years out of high school straight. I've only had 3 jobs in my life, before starting this company, and it's just one of those things that you can't avoid. But big thing is, like I said, just drive. You can have a business that does anything, provides a service or whatever it may be, but we're actually in the business of bettering people's lives. So when someone comes to our school, they're single moms, they're single dads, they have little to no income, they have little to no educational experience, or the educational experience they've had has been terrible. They've been to college 5 or 6 times, didn't succeed. So every month we actually complete programs. We don't start January, summer, and the fall. We will have 15 classes start a month between all of our locations. So we get to see people graduating every month, and it's awesome.
How's like the market and industry and just overall environment changed throughout when you started up until now?
The big thing is the access to healthcare. Some people like what they call the Obamacare, which is healthcare reform. Some people don't. If you go into the political realm of it, you could argue night and day. But the simple fact is that from the baby boomers to their children to now you all, and the growth of medical and the need for medical and dental, we actually, everybody tells us, man, you sure hit this at the right time, because growth for all of these degree or non-degree programs that we offer is among the highest in the industries. If you look at other markets of the Department of Labor and Statistics, you'll have a 5% job growth, 7% job growth. Medical and dental, 21, 25, 35. Then you get into electronic health services, 35, 40% job growth in a 10-year span. You can't beat that. That's impressive.
I know whenever I think about starting something new that no one else has done before, I have a lot of trouble because I think about it and it's like, well, wait, they've started the same thing a couple years ago. How did you actually come up with this idea that nobody else had?
A lot of people had this idea, but just not as precise and as detailed as it was, with all the variables to go into play. All schools offer short-term training, but how we did it was constant research on the internet, finding what is truly credentialed, what is truly considered a national accreditation. In college and universities, regional accredited colleges have more substantive value than a nationally accredited college. State schools are regionally accredited. For-profit schools are typically nationally accredited. Ours, what we do is, it has nothing to do with our facility at all. It's the training program itself that's nationally accredited. So that is one of the things that has kind of got us to where we can be as successful as we can.
How interested would you be in having a student or student team work on a current critical entrepreneurial innovation or strategic problem?
Well, more than open to it. Matter of fact, our social media that we have right now are graduates from Western Kentucky's Entrepreneurial Studies program. They started out Hangout Creative, or hangoutcreative.com, and we kind of took those guys and worked with them, helped them, trained them, and then of course they worked with us, helped us, and trained us.